welcome everyone to the Codo Bach Pitstop. The NASCAR regular season is underway, and just already it's back in full mid-season form. If that is a good or a bad thing, that is to be determined. It may not be a good thing for a certain somebody else on this podcast, but we'll get into all of that in just we'll get into all of that in just a second. Pat's just loving this moment here right now. As always, everyone, Matt Lauterbach here, hosting the Codo Bach Pitstop, and joining me across the screen, my wonderful co-host, who right now probably wants to put a bullet in my head.
Hello, everyone. This is the co-host of the Codo Bach Pitstop, and apparently I do because this boy is trying to start some fire early.
Me and starting fireworks. You know what? I'm not starting as much fire as much as NASCAR is already, so I'm safe for now.
There is one major positive, though, that they did get right this weekend, which we'll touch on later.
We will definitely touch on that later. I believe I know what you're going to talk about. I have a good feeling I know what you're going to say. But, Pat, we had a fun weekend of racing nonetheless. Rain came in the area again, but we still of course, it's Daytona, it's Florida. What do you expect? But we still had a fun weekend of racing at Daytona. We bring back paint scheme of the week. Pat, you go first. Whose paint scheme were you rocking with?
Well, I think you're going to want to put a bullet in my head, too, because I think I'm about to steal your scheme. You got to go with Willie Beam's Jeff Gordon looking scheme. I knew it. All right. Fire's starting early. I love it.
Fire is already starting early. You see, we're already in mid-season form. NASCAR's already in mid-season form, and it's already just 1 week into the regular season. So we're off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen.
That is a great scheme, though. I'm glad the 24 car is, showing some of those Jeff Gordon vibes. That is a really cool scheme, and really all the Hendrick Motorsports don't disappoint.
No, they did not.
Kyle Larson's schemes have been getting better. Like, his Valvoline cars are not bad. The car that he raced last year wasn't bad. There are some decent schemes.
Yeah, there are some very decent schemes that Kyle Larson races as of late. I mean, the Hendrick department, they get their schemes right, including Throwback Weekend for Darlington. I always looking forward to seeing
Hendrick, Trackhouse, and 2311. I feel like hit it on the head with their schemes.
They always do. They always hit it on the freaking fracking head.
So what's your scheme then, since I stole yours, which I kind of expected?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're even now from the intro, but oh boy. You put me right in the middle of the box here. But all right, you know what? He's going to be rocking this scheme all year, but I honestly did like this paint scheme from Saturday's Xfinity race. Brought back his sponsor from Joe Gibbs when he was there last year, his first race at Haas Factory. Give me Sheldon Creed's Friends of Jacqueline 00 car.
Yeah, that's not a bad scheme. I like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I love the paint scheme. That's such a colorful looking car. When he was at Joe Gibbs last year, that was his 18 Camry, or Supra, I should say, were some really nice looking cars with Friends of Jacqueline, and he brings that back to Haas Factory. So he had a great day at Daytona, but we'll touch more on that in a second. So, Pat, we'll just get right into the action. We go to the Truck Series race on Friday. That was a thrilling race. You and I were watching that at the station. I had to work on my feature story. You got back from a highlight. And the ending, we were both jumping up and down with exacerbation and excitement because we thought that Parker Kligerman, now retired from full-time competition, won this race. We all thought
we thought so. First and foremost, we're like, all right, Parker, and it was a good race happening. And at one point, we're like, no, not Corey Heim.
But it wasn't Corey Heim, or so we thought at first.
Well, as I say, we thought it wasn't at first. It was Parker Kligerman. We were jumping up and down, excited. Good start for
Yeah.
Parker.
Yep.
Uh, we got some devastating news a couple hours later.
Yeah. So we got some very, very, very tragic news just a little bit later that Parker Kligerman was disqualified and given a post-race penalty after the race took away his win. And sadly, that handed the win over to a guy who
For
you and
being
I,
too low, like what the fuck does that even mean?
that's the exact opposite of what Alex Bowman got penalized for at the Roval last year. Bowman, his car got penalized for being too light. Parker Kligerman's car got penalized for being too low. That just,
Okay, how the fuck can you be too light or too low? Like I
yeah,
don't quite understand.
I do not understand that at all. But I looking at the car, it looked like it was fine after the race.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean, it
know
was
if,
racing just fine. It finished just fine.
yeah, finished just fine. It was riding really well up there, but
We
hey,
thought it finished a winner.
we thought it did finish the winner too, but unfortunately, that ended up handing the win to Corey Heim, a guy who you and I have both said a lot of wonderful things about on this show in the
We're gonna
past.
continue to say wonderful things about that son of a bitch.
Yes, we are going to continue that with Corey Heim, but that just sparked a whole weekend of legal battles between Kligerman and Henderson Racing, the team he raced for Friday
Not
night
to mention,
against.
too, Matt, not to jump off topic, but we saw the duels end on a very sour note as well.
Yes, with NASCAR throwing the caution when they probably should have let them race back and let Eric Jones win.
Mm-hmm.
Very tragic ending to that. And NASCAR did it again for a second night in a row. Uh, Kligerman and Henderson Racing appealed the decision. They were disqualified. They lost the win. But just an hour ago, NASCAR upheld their decision. Kligerman and Henderson Racing lost their appeals. So Corey Heim will stand as the official winner from Friday night's race. God, that just sucks. That just uh really took the way. And it was a good truck race too on Friday night. It was an actual
Yeah,
really
for
good.
once, because it usually ends in a shit show.
Well, it did end in a bit of a shit show, but Parker Kligerman made his way through the end there. And honestly, the broadcast with Joey Lagan, obviously, say what you want about Jamie Little. I think she needs to be taken out of the booth and remain a pit reporter in any series. But Logano and Harvick actually did pretty good bouncing off each other in the broadcast booth, I thought.
Oh, I was gonna say we can't stand Joey, but the guy knows his shit when it comes to being an analyst.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. When he retires, I kind of expect him to be an analyst. And I probably not at Fox with, well, maybe he would take over for Boyer at Fox.
Maybe with Fox, because let's be real, you got to get Clint Boyer out of the booth.
Yeah, Clint Boyer, they're just trying to make him a clone of DW. And you can argue Kevin Harvick is somewhat like a Larry McReynolds type, but Kevin Harvick has forged his own path. Kevin Harvick has made his own moves.
Well, well, Clint Boyer ain't no DW.
He is far from a DW. He is worse from a DW. He does have good chemistry with Kevin Harvick, but really, they try to make him be way too humorous when they shouldn't be. So,
Right.
uh, but I did enjoy listening to the booth race on Friday night. Fox Sports, they're trying. They're trying to get themselves back going in the right direction. I'm excited to see what they do with their IndyCar coverage because that seems really good.
You
That'll
hope
be
so.
coming up.
You hope they don't. You hope they don't go to commercial too many times and activate us keyboard warriors, as Mike Jordan call us.
Yeah, they were trying to do that. I mean, that's why they went the last 40 laps of the Daytona 500 commercial free, so they could avoid hearing from all of us keyboard warriors.
Trust me, there's a fuck ton of keyboard warriors out there.
Yeah, the keyboard warrior group, they remain strong. We support that.
Yeah.
But Corey Heim starts off with a win, unfortunately, and that 11 truck. They're going to be they were arguably the best truck team last year, and they Parker Kligerman and NASCAR just delivered them a win on a silver platter. So Corey Heim, this is going to be, I fear this is going to be the beginning of a really good year for him. I'm afraid he's Ty Gibbs 2.0.
Yeah, but how did last season end, Mr. Heim?
Very anticlimactic. Very anticlimactic.
Because it was literally a battle between him and
Majeski.
Chris Beckis.
Oh, for the whole regular season. Yeah. And then Ty Majeski just swooped in out of nowhere. It's like, I'll take that championship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. But, well, we'll just have to wait and see how the rest of the season unfolds. Moving on to the Saturday Xfinity race after the shit show of an ARCO race that was broadcasted at Daytona on Saturday morning. We moved to some more calmer racing, I would say, on Saturday afternoon with the Xfinity race. Your boy, Austin Hill, who you picked to win this weekend, he won the last 3 Daytona season openers. He was dominant. He led 56 laps. He won stages 1 and 2. And then Pat.
And then his car decided to stop working on it.
Yeah, it was not looking good for him.
It's like some Sheldon Creed haters decided to sneak in and fuck with the car.
Are you suggesting some tampering here from the Haas factory pit on Richard Childress' pit?
Not really, but just how the way it ended. I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on?
Well, yeah, that was very surprising
because he didn't wreck or anything. He was racing just fine, and then he just goes into the garage like that. I'm like, what the?
Well, he was reporting a lot of smoke in the cockpit mid-race. There's a lot of smoke going in.
Right.
He was leaking oil, and there were a lot of drivers behind him complaining that they were having trouble holding on. It was a lot of rear end axle that was going wrong on Austin Hill's car that was causing the oil leak.
Somebody must have gave him a really good bump for that to happen.
Only saw a lot of that on Saturday in the race. Saw a lot of that on Saturday, but Austin Hill, his streak of dominance in the season opener at Daytona comes to an end at 3. He finished 33rd. Not good way to start his year, but fortunately for him, there were a lot of other drivers whose years started off on a sour note. Brandon Jones, welcome back to Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series. It lasted all of 5 laps.
Well, everybody sees the start anyway.
Yeah. Brandon Jones got wrecked early, along with Daniel Dye in a big accident. They had a whole lot of carnage throughout the race. But one man stood alone at the top. Jesse Love, who I picked to win this weekend, he managed to carry the RCR banners, and he had a tall task ahead of him. He had to hold off the Haas factory duo of Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed, and the junior motorsports duo. It looked like Carson Quaffle and Justin Allgaier were up there battling with him, but Jesse Love was able to do it. And with a big wreck on the front stretch caused by Allgaier, he was able to lead the pack around one more time, and he claimed the Daytona season opening race for the Xfinity Series. So RCR, they win their 4th opener race in a row in the Xfinity Series.
I was going to say, RCR knows how to find a way to grind on super speedways.
That's what they're good at. They've always been their super speedway package. You just cannot beat it, because if you take
this could be the year that they might be able to pull some out of their asses on non-super speedways.
Could be. We saw Austin Hill start to do some good work on non-super speedway tracks at the end of last year, as you probably remember, and I unfortunately remember.
Go check out that episode, everybody. I was throwing some friendly shots at Matt after that race.
As you should have. As you rightfully should have. But yeah, you take Austin Hill out of the equation in a super speedway race, you got to prepare for Jesse Love to step up, and he's going to have an impact.
Absolutely. RCR has been hitting it on the head in the Xfinity Series. The Cup Series, not so much.
No, the Cup Series, not so much. And that continued quite a bit on Sunday. But before we get to that, we take a look at our Xfinity Series top 10. for the race at Daytona. Jesse Love wins, and it's a 2-3 finish for Haas Factory with their newly set lineup. Sam Mayer takes second. Sheldon Creed takes third. Carson Quaffle, his first full season at Junior Motorsports, in fourth. Taylor Gray, a strong run, in fifth. Harrison Byrne, he was my dark horse pick, took sixth. He stuck his way through some accidents. Jordan Anderson, seventh. Dean Thompson, his first race, in eighth. Jeremy Clements, ninth. And a good run for Patrick Emmerling in 10th, rounding out the top 10. And to look at our point standings, it's only one race, but you know what? I got to hold my head onto this because I got something on you. Current point leader right now in the Xfinity Series. Yep. Stick that finger high up there because guess what? This guy's going to be going high up.
You can enjoy that shit for now.
I am going to enjoy it for now because the current
Enjoy
point
it for that 1 week. Enjoy it for that 1 week.
Hey, you never know. He runs pretty decent at Atlanta too. But Sheldon Creed is the current point leader right now. It doesn't mean much, but you know what? For me, it means everything because he's atop the point standings, baby. Sheldon Creed, 2025 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. Let's go.
And if he doesn't win it this year, we're going to look back on this episode at this buffoon right there.
Yeah. I will have made a fool of myself. But you know what? What haven't I made a fool of myself? I've always made a fool of myself.
You were exactly. You were thinking Creed was going to win on Saturday.
Hey, I didn't. Hey, I said last week I was not going to suck off to Sheldon Creed. I didn't pick him to win last week. I picked Jesse.
I know, but knowing you are a Sheldon Creed dick rider at heart.
Hey, I was watching closely for him. I was waiting closely for him to just hoping he could get by those two cars. But you know, it's okay.
Finishing second was an Olympic sport.
Well, he didn't finish second.
I know, but
he didn't finish second, but it was close enough. But yeah. So Sheldon Creed atop the point standings, Jesse Love back in second, and that's all probably going to change this weekend when we go to Atlanta. Or will
yes, it will.
You never know. You never know. But let's move on now to Cup Series action at Daytona. The Daytona 500 was again in full display. We went racing, but then we only got 11 laps in because Mother Nature reared her ugly head once again. And the Daytona 500 was rain delayed for about 3 hours. Track was dried off. And finally, at around 6 o'clock, we went racing again. And stage one looked clean and green up until the end. Denny Hamlin pulled off a bonsai save. Still don't know how he pulled that one off.
Yeah, I'm glad it was okay.
Yeah, he got bumped by Zane Smith. He spun around. Zane Smith spun around and got clobbered by Josh Berry. That was basically the end of their nights. They both went to the garage and returned many laps down. Denny Hamlin was able to keep going without damage. And Pat, this also couldn't have gone well for either of us. A driver in that no good, ugly yellow car won stage one, and his name is Joey Logano.
You sure it was ugly and yellow? It had some red in it, which made it worse.
Yeah, it was yellow, white, and red, and it was just ugly all over. It just
might as well spray that. Might as well put that shit on a hot dog bun.
Yeah. Yeah, mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup all right there at once. Yeah, well, that's what Joey Logano's car would be later on in the race. More on him in a second. But speaking of moron, he was a bit of a moron on the restart to get stage two going. Logano, his car lost electric power up front leading, caused a huge stack up going into turn one, and it took out a bunch of cars, most notably the Trackhouse teammates of Ross Chastain and Helio Castroneves. They were wiped out in that crash.
Yeah, Helio Castroneves maybe needs to stay away from the Cup.
Hey, you know what? I know Helio's foray into Cup didn't go as planned this weekend, but you know what? It was worth it seeing him in a Cup Series car. It was cool to see him out there at Daytona.
It was. Hopefully he gets another opportunity.
Hopefully he does get another opportunity. He basically said after his wreck that he was not going to take it for granted. He enjoyed every second of racing with Project 91, regardless of what happened. But it was the end of the night for him and Ross Chastain. That is not the way Ross is hoping to get his season going after a bit of a lackluster season last year.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's also a super speedway as well.
It is.
A start to someone's season's always hit or miss at that track.
Yeah, yeah, it's always a hit or miss. Martin Truex Jr. also was eliminated in that crash. Oh, buddy,
Who?
Martin Truex Jr.
Who?
Yeah, who? Yeah, guy's not in the 19 car anymore. That's
Yeah.
who. Yeah.
We have a new guy in the 19 car who actually raced really well until further notice.
Until further notice. Yep, we'll get into that much later on in the show. But we had that happen at the race. Racing resumed at the end of stage 2. It was Ryan Blaney leading the Penske duo of him and Austin Cindric. They carried the banner and they won stage 2. And it looked like it was going to be a Penske night because it looked like they were going to carry the banner for the Daytona 500. You had Austin Cindric leading, Ryan Blaney right behind him, and Joey Logano got himself resorted out and back on the lead lap after his electrical issues, and he was marching his way up towards the top 10. And then we saw some interesting racing, Pat, with about 15 laps to go. Two guys who totally work well together, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Corey LaJoie.
You mean two idiots that should be having jobs at McDonald's?
I seriously don't know how Corey LaJoie is still able to be in.
How's Ricky Stenhouse still going? That dude's wrecking people left and right.
Well, it wasn't fully his. It was not fully his fault though. It was some interesting racing at the end of the race. Corey LaJoie and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They were not working well together at all. They were racing very aggressively with one another.
Yeah, but Stenhouse was literally out in the middle wobbling. I'm like, dude, get in a fucking line.
He was just worried about what LaJoie was doing, and LaJoie was only worried about Stenhouse was doing. But they did work together. They were able to catch the lead few cars, and then at the very end of it, going down into turn 2, Stenhouse got aggressive again. He tried to block Joey Logano. Logano stuck his nose right in the middle, and it ended up resulting in chaos. Logano and Stenhouse went around.
That failed miserably.
That failed miserably. Ryan Blaney got wrecked in the process. Kyle Busch got taken out. Whole bunch of cars were involved in it.
When does Kyle Busch not get wrecked?
Kyle Busch has just become a wreck magnet this past year and a half.
Yep.
He is really just taking the mantra of a wreck magnet in recent weeks. But yeah, that was interesting because it looked like from the broadcast, this could go either way. Logano is sticking his nose up the middle where it shouldn't belong, and Stenhouse arguably made a horrible block.
To me, I would put more of the blame on Stenhouse because he was like, not even in a full line. He's just wobbling around a little bit. I'm like, dude, make up your fucking mind.
Yeah, Stenhouse was very indecisive.
At least Joey was lined up before his idiot move.
Well, Joey was going for it. He was going to go shoot the middle, and Stenhouse came down to try to close that gap, but it just resulted in chaos. But what I found so interesting, Pat...
Well, Joey's also an idiot driver at times, too.
Yeah.
We all say that Kyle Larson is checkers or wreckers.
Yeah.
Joey Logano might be entering that category soon.
Joey Logano may be entering that category soon because when he isn't winning races, he's always wrecking himself out, it seems. That was very noticeable last year. But Pat, it was interesting to see how many drivers were going at Joey Logano that were involved in that wreck. You had Kyle Busch. When he was interviewed, he said fastest car here is the first one trying to cause a wreck, aiming at Joey Logano. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano's teammate, went out on him and called him out for that wreck. And Ricky Stenhouse, who made contact.
What did Blaney say? What did Blaney say?
I'm looking up what Blaney said, but he basically.
I applauded Kyle Busch because, well, first and foremost, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano are not best friends. So let's just make let's just make sure that everybody knows that, Kyle Busch
Right.
and Joey Logano fucking hate each other.
Yeah, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano do not like each other. There's no love. There is no love lost there between
Like
both of
Kyle
them.
Busch fans hate Joey Logano fans, and Joey Logano fans hate Kyle Busch fans.
Yeah. Yeah, they were a long time ago. They were teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing, but since then they have hated each other. They
Oh,
hate each other.
it's just like Boyer and Gordon.
Yeah. They 1 year in the Fox booth, they did not like each other, and they did not like each other prior to that. But yeah, it was just amazing seeing the amount of guys that were going at Joey Logano for causing that wreck. I would argue that was 50-50. Logano definitely did stick his nose in there, but
I would definitely, besides take a shot at Joey, I would also take a shot at Stenhouse too.
yes, because
Because
Ricky made a
Stenhouse,
late block.
was again, he was lost.
Yeah, he
He
was
didn't
all over the
just he
place.
didn't just spurt out of a line to try to find a middle hole and take it. No, he was just lost, had no idea what he was doing, and then just had to fucking okay
Yeah, it was not good ending at all for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. nor Joey Logano. They both had a good chance of winning the Daytona 500, but they were caught up in the wreck. Also involved in the wreck, by the look of things, uh, Shane Van Gisbergen got collected. Zane Smith got himself, I believe, a bit involved in that. And yeah, it was just, God, it was just not a good look at all for Stenhouse nor Joey Logano. Stenhouse was able to get his car going. He was able to finish the race, but Logano, Kyle Busch, they were unable to finish, and Ryan Blaney, yeah, it was another heartbreak in the Daytona 500 for Ryan Blaney. He's come so close so many times, but he just hasn't been able to put it all together. He did rebound to finish seventh, but that crash took him out for the race.
Yeah, and and I was actually texting Joe a little bit during the race because he was watching the end of the race as well, and I told him, "Oh, dude, I'm not comfortable yet, man. There's going to be another one coming."
Well, there were more of them coming.
Exactly. Yeah. No. No. Like that was just only the beginning of what was to come.
Yeah, that was just the beginning right there. So we flash forward a few laps later, same spot going down the backstretch. The field is double file on. Yeah, that was a lap after restart. I think that was a lap after restart. They were double file. They're all being and banging. It was the Joe Gibbs Racing teammates of Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell battling neck and neck for the lead. Behind Bell was Cole Custer, and you could tell the front of Custer's car did not align well with the back of Bell's car,
Yeah,
because
that was not a good first cup race back.
that was not a good cup race back for Cole Custer. We'll get more into that in a second, but he pushed Christopher Bell head on into the wall. And Bell's car came back out into traffic, and he took out a bunch of other cars, including Ryan Preece, who just loves the back straightaway at Daytona. He went over the top of the back of Bell's car, took air, and this was a weird. I have never seen a car take off like this, Pat. Preece's car wheelied over the back of Bell's car.
You could say that was more scarier than his wreck in the some. It was more scarier than his wreck in the summer race of 23.
Yeah, the way his car took off, it looked scary because it just wheelied, went nose first in the air, flipped over, tumbled, and then hit the outside wall in turn three. That was
If that happened to one of the cars that Dale was driving, that driver would be dead.
Yeah, that driver would be dead. I have never seen any car just get as much air like that going down the backstretch and wheelie like that. And Priest did say in his interview that it was windy out, that it was the wind that also got underneath the car and helped push it over like that.
No, it was
But
windy as fuck.
it was windy during that
It's
race.
like there was
But
an actual hurricane down there.
yeah, it was very windy, and the air getting under the car mixed with the wind pushing it up and over. That did not help matters at all. Ryan Preece got KO'd in that wreck. Also involved Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, Aaron
Chase Elliott got
Jones,
some hit.
Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. His car got fucked up in
Yeah,
that
at least
wreck.
Chase was able to. At least some guys were able to finish.
Yeah, some guys were able to finish. Suarez was able to finish. Jones was able to finish.
Chase was able to finish.
Chase was able to finish, but not was Ryan Preece and Christopher
Oof.
Bell. And Preece,
I'm just very thankful. I'm just very thankful that Priest is okay.
Yeah, Preece.
It just shows you how much safety work the teams have put into these cars.
Well, I found it interesting what Preece said after when he was interviewed. He basically said, "We're getting very close to someone not standing here after they take one of these wrecks." And they NASCAR has done a better job.
Considering of what we saw, and let's not forget too, we saw something like this happen at Michigan last year.
Yeah, with Corey LaJoie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the way how NASCAR has changed these cars aerodynamically, I don't know. It's just you get on these big drafting tracks and these super speedway type tracks, you always have to fear something like this is going to happen, especially with the speeds at which these cars are going at.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know, specifically for these super speedways.
No, no, you just never know. And with how these cars are meant to handle and how they're meant to draft, they got to do something to change these cars aerodynamically. I mean, this I feel will definitely get their attention, especially with the way how his car just took off like that and wheelied down the backstretch.
Well, yeah, hope so at least.
You would hope so. You would hope so. And with what he said afterwards when he got interviewed, I would like to hope that that would happen. But that was besides the point. Ryan Preece, he had such a good debut with RFK that came to a crashing halt once again. He just needs to get over the bad luck, man. He is covered in bad luck with all these wrecks that he's been involved in.
Bad Brad or I know Preece.
Preece. He's just could be
Bad Brad's been on the short end of the stick too at these super speedways.
Bad Brad has, but dude, Preece has been involved in like so many wrecks that have changed the safety of these cars. You remember 23, it was not only his wreck at Daytona, but he also had his wreck at Talladega where he plowed into Kyle Larson, broke the roll cage on Larson's car without hurting it.
I'm surprised there was an explosion. I was there for that.
Yeah, you were there for that race. You were there for that race.
I was there for that. That was scary to see.
That was, yeah, seeing that live on TV and seeing him in the in-car, that was scary to look at. But fortunately, Preece is okay. Hopefully, he can get his season going in the right direction. But, Pat, let's talk about the finish to this race, and we did not see this coming. So it looked like coming on the white flag, it was going to be a 3-horse race between Denny Hamlin going for his 4th Daytona 500, Austin Cindric going for his 2nd Daytona 500, and Cole Custer back in the Cup Series. And it did not go good at all for Cole Custer to end his return to the Cup. Going down the backstretch, they went 3 wide. Denny Hamlin on the bottom, Cindric in the middle, Custer on the outside. And from what it looked like, Custer just came down. He tried to cut down in front of Cindric and draft alongside Hamlin. Didn't have Cindric cleared, and the 3 of them collided, and it caused a major accident, took out a bunch of cars. But the 2 on the outside that snuck through was William Byron and Tyler Reddick.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Remember when I said at the beginning that NASCAR got a rare dub this weekend?
Yeah, I knew this was it.
This was the rare dub. They let them finish.
They did let them finish. And I applaud that decision because that was a 2-horse race to the end between 2 guys who just snookered their way through that wreck. And in the end, William Byron held off Tyler Reddick. And William Byron becomes the 4th driver to go back-to-back in the Daytona 500. What a job for Willie B.
Yeah, what a job for Willie B in general. I mean, he was consistent all race long. He avoided the big ones as much as possible because, some drivers weren't able to. He and Tyler Reddick both, spurted out of the wreck and were able to go 1-2.
Yeah. And William Byron he didn't really lead this race. He was up there, but he wasn't leading. He was just quietly consistent, but he just jumped out at the right time, He avoided all the carnage when it happened, and he just snaked his way through. And kudos to Tyler Reddick. That team is going to be really good this year. They are going to have some good luck. They are going to really pick
Riley
up.
Herbst had himself a good rookie series debut too.
Yeah, until he spun out on the last lap. He was running up top 5, top 10. Bubba was looking fast at times, but he got taken out in the Ryan Priest wreck. That team, they need to find some more luck. But Tyler Reddick is still going to be carrying the banner at 23-11 until either Bubba or Herbst steps up. But for William Byron, it's his first Cup Series win since Martinsville last year. Tyler Reddick takes second. How about Jimmy Johnson, 7-time, takes third? He had to qualify his way into the 500, and he gets his first top 5 at Legacy, the team he owns. So kudos, JJ.
Exactly. Happy for him.
Yeah, so happy for him. Chase Briscoe, who won the pole, we'll talk more about him in a second. He finished 4th. And John Hunter Nemechek, Legacy had a great day. They rounded out the top 5.
I was worried we were going to have to see John Hunter. We were going to have to see John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah. Hey, kudos to John Hunter. He's not my I don't care for him, but he's not my most hated driver. He took 5th. Alex Bowman hacked up a 6th place finish. Ryan Blaney snaked his way through the carnage on the backstretch to finish 7th. Austin Cindric was 8th. He came around, and Justin Allgaier, driving the Junior Motorsports 40, had to race his way into 500. He took 9th. That is such a big story for Junior Motorsports. I would love to see them go cup racing full time one day in the future. And Chris Buescher rounds out the top 10 for year 2025 Daytona 500.
Yeah, that was a great race. I'm glad, NASCAR let them finish the race instead of throwing out a caution.
Well, they threw the caution after the leaders took the checkered flag, but that's besides the point. They let them race to the very end, and I'm happy they did it because that was you had the field still coming through there, but you had a lot of guys who got past it. So kudos to letting them race back and finish the race under green. But Pat, the Daytona news wasn't done there just yet. Last night, we had a big penalty for Chase Briscoe. He just can't get away from these penalties. Briscoe was found, the 19 team was penalized for modifying the spoiler on the rear of that 19 car. Briscoe and his team, they have been docked 100 driver points, 10 playoff points, and crew chief James Small, this is a big loss for him. James Small has been suspended for the next 4 races, and Briscoe, who he gets to keep his 4th place finish, but it doesn't really matter for him in the points because he is now minus 67 points to start the year.
That's not good.
That's digging yourself in a big hole to start off.
Chase Briscoe basically needs to win, and he's in the playoffs now. That's how the system works.
I wouldn't even say a win is good because he needs to be in the top 30, no, top 35 in points. I mean, I think he can definitely get himself in the top 35 in points, no doubt about it, but that's really just digging yourself as low as you can get to start off the season.
He's in a big hole.
Yeah, he's in a big hole already. And there's 25 races left, but if you're Chase Briscoe, you're not just looking at 1 win. You're looking at maybe 4 or 5 wins in the regular season.
You're basically in do or die mode right now.
Yeah, he already just started off in do or die mode. And it doesn't get any easier with where we go to next week. But Chase Briscoe, man, he's been hit with so many penalties in his short Cup career. He got hit with a big one in 23. That just basically set their whole season back. They were never able to recover from that and make the playoffs. And oh man, this is not a good start for Joe Gibbs Racing with Chase Briscoe.
Nope, not at all. Well, Joe Gibbs Racing really has never had good luck.
No, they've never really had good luck.
Just ask Denny Hamlin.
Just ask Denny Hamlin. And hey, ask Christopher Bell. He got snake bit quite a bit last year too. Didn't really help him out last year. You know what I'm talking about.
And then don't even bother asking Truex because, well, he's a no-show. Well, he was a
Uh,
no-show.
yeah, yeah. Truex has been a no-show quite a bit. So I don't know, man. It's I really don't know what you do if you're Chase Briscoe right now, but if you're Joe Gibbs Racing and that 19 team, you're looking at trying to get multiple wins this year now, basically. It's not a one-win scenario, it's multiple wins now with how bad your point situation is.
I think he'll get some wins, but
I think he'll
yeah,
get
this,
some
this
wins
is this
too.
is not the position he wants to be in right now.
No, no, not at all. But hopefully they can do that. But again, like I said earlier, it doesn't get any easier. We have another drafting track coming up this weekend. It's the return of Atlanta. We go back there. Pat, last year we saw the Cars 1 finish come to life. Will they do that again? I don't think so, but anything's possible.
I mean,
Any
yeah, all the race. Well, we saw. Well, first and foremost, they don't need. I'm glad Atlanta's not in the playoffs this year because we don't need two super speedways.
No, we don't. We don't. I
Yeah,
just
we saw
wish
that crazy. We saw that ending in the spring, but then that sour ending in the fall.
yeah, that was a bit of a sour ending in the fall last year, but you know what? Atlanta's not in the playoffs, so we have nothing to worry about with that. Thank
Exactly.
God. Thank God. But Pat, full weekend of racing. We have truck and Xfinity racing on Saturday, and then Sunday we have the Am Better 400 at Atlanta. That's going to be fun. Daniel Suarez pulled off the upset last year. We'll see if he can do
What
it
a race by
again.
amigos.
Mi Amigos, that saved his job at Trackhouse for a year. Maybe he can do it again. Never
For
know.
sure.
Never know. But let's preview and make our picks for this weekend. You know, let's do what we did before. We'll do our big pick, but because Atlanta's a drafting track, it's still anybody's game. It's
Yeah.
anybody's race. So we'll make our dark horse pick. We'll make our actual race winners and we'll make our dark horse picks. So we'll start off with the truck race on Saturday. Who you like for that one?
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Ty Majeski as my safe pick for that race.
All right.
My dark horse, fuck it, give me Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs, he was up there at Daytona last week
Hey,
at the end.
ever since Lane Riggs started winning races, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, this guy's got something cooking.
Yeah, he could have won at Daytona Friday night, but he got wrecked on the last lap.
I know we
So
were going crazy for that.
yeah, we both of us were watching. We wanted Lane to win, but wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. All right, my safe pick because he's racing on Saturday. He won it last year. I'm gonna go Kyle Busch driving the 7 truck for Spire.
Okay, nice.
Yep, but my Hail Mary pick. Oh boy. My Hail Mary pick. You know what? Screw it. Let's go Matt Crafton, that 80, the old man in that 88 car. He'll be my
Nice.
Hail Mary pick for he's an underdog now. So that'll be our truck series picks. Pat, we immediately after the truck race on Saturday, we have the Xfinity race. I already know who you're gonna go for your safe pick again because he owns this joint.
He does own this joint. He does own Atlanta. His name is Austin Hill. He's gonna fucking win it for a third straight time.
I had a feeling that's who you're gonna pick. I
Yep.
had a good feeling about that.
And then for my dark horse, you know what? This son of a bitch has also won a super speedway. I had to see him win a super speedway. Jeb Burton.
Jeb Byrne, okay.
I
All
saw him
right.
win at Daytona in 23.
All right. All right. Yeah, Jeb Byrne won at Dega. You were there that weekend, as you said, and hey, he could definitely I think he could definitely pull off some black magic here. It's another drafting track. He knows this place really good. Yeah, Jeb Byrne could be that pick. All right. You know what? My safe pick. Oh man. I feel like we're repeating ourselves here, but this team, RCR just has it dialed in on these super speedways. This kid, he won the pole. He dominated this race last year, led almost all the laps, but he had a tire issue late in the race that took him out of contention. You just can't count out Richard Childress Racing on these super speedways. I'm gonna go with Austin Hill's teammate Jesse Love again. Yeah, we're both picking RCR drivers to start the season. I promise you that will change. My Hail Mary pick, he looked really good at Daytona last week. I think he'll have some more wins this year, but I think this would be a good place to get his first win. I'm gonna go with Taylor Gray.
Okay, I like that pick.
Yeah, he's my Hail Mary pick for this weekend in Xfinity. All right, Pat, who you got for the Cup race then, the Ambetter 400?
Do you have a feeling who I'm going to pick?
I have a few ideas. I have a few ideas of which way you may be leaning towards.
Well, he's won here before.
All right.
We're gonna hear that Dawsonville siren going off on Sunday. Give me Chase Elliott as my safe winner.
Chase Elliott, the hometown kid. He
Yep.
could do it. Could do it.
And my dark horse? Fuck it, give me Amigo, Daniel Suarez.
All right, Daniel Suarez won here last year. I was either going to pick him as my safe or dark horse
He
pick.
had a shot to win it in the fall, but then got involved in the wreck.
No, he finished second in the fall. He just got beaten out, I think, at the end by Logano. But
yeah,
Suarez has always run good at the reconfigured Atlanta. He's finished his last 3 starts at reconfigured Atlanta second, first, second. He knows his place. So
yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the Amigos.
okay, all right, you go with the Migos. All right, my safe pick for Sunday. He almost won this race last year. He could have had he probably could have had it won, but he came up just 3/1000ths of a second short to me Amigos. I'm gonna go Ryan Blaney. He's gonna get redemption from Daytona, and he's gonna win at
He's
Atlanta.
won at Atlanta before.
He did. He won at Atlanta pre-configuration.
Yeah, I think he actually won the second to last race at that old track.
Yep. Yeah, that was the old Atlanta. That was before it became the drafting track that it is now. Yeah, Ryan Blaney is going to be my pick, my safe pick. And then my Hail Mary pick, because he looked really good at Daytona, almost won the dual race, and he had a top 10, potentially top 5 run going before he got taken out of the Ryan Preece wreck. I'm going to go with Eric Jones, that Jones boy.
Eric Jones always finds a way to pull something out of his ass on the fucking super speedways. I don't know what is.
He runs really good at the super speedways. He's very quiet, but he's right there. He dodges a lot of trouble. So
he does. I think he will this Sunday.
Yep, he very well could, and if he doesn't win, he'll definitely have himself a good finish. So
yes, sir.
Jones is going to be my safe pick, my Hail Mary pick for Sunday. So that's going to take us to the end of the show. But before we wrap everything up, we bring back our winners and losers of the week. Pat, let's start off with you.
Well, I'm going to start with an honorable mention. My winners actually, and this one's a very rare one, but it's going to be NASCAR for letting them finish the Daytona 500.
Wow. They start the regular season off with a W. That's something we didn't expect.
Yep. And then my actual winner of the week, Willie B. Right place, right time, avoided the wreck, stayed consistent, and got the win.
Yeah. He took it right there.
My loser of the week goes to Wreck House, Ricky Stenhouse.
Oh man.
What else is new with that buffoon?
Yeah. Kyle Busch is looking very smart for going on the Pat McAfee show last year and calling him Ricky Spinhouse.
Spinhouse, Wreck House.
You name it.
Sucks.
Yep. There's a reason why RFK let you go when you did, buddy.
Yep.
But yep. All right. My winner of the week. Oh man. It's hard to say. You know what? I didn't like this guy growing up, obviously, because I saw him win every week. But you know what? He got himself a decent run at Daytona, and he's a legend in this sport. So I have to give him his props where they're due. I'm gonna go Jimmy Johnson for my winner of the week.
Oh, the minute you said I hate watching him win every week. Oh, yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he won 5 straight championships. That pissed off a lot of people.
Me included. I was
Yeah.
I I was 9 years old when he won his fifth championship, and I was pissed off about it. Just seeing, I wanted Denny Hamlin to win that year, but as we know, Denny's a choke artist. And you know
Yep.
what? He's sorry. Go ahead.
And he's going to continue to be a choke artist for the time being.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Denny Hamlin, he's my honorable mention for loser of the week because he had that race won, but he had things just go completely sideways for him, literally on the last lap, and
Tick,
got
tick,
taken
tick,
out.
tick, 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 Dennis.
Tick, 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 Denny. You could have gotten in with that win, but I mean, it wasn't his fault, but still, that was not a good way for him to. That was pretty heartbreaking right there. And then my actual loser of the week is Chase Briscoe. So that penalty is really going to fuck him over, I'm afraid, for the playoffs.
Yeah, he pretty much right now might want. Yeah,
Yeah.
playoffs start now for Chase Briscoe, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's hey, you don't have William Byron's luxury of being locked in the playoffs with your one win this year, buddy. You got to put your big boy pants on. You got to go to work.
Yep.
So it starts now. 25 weeks left before the playoffs start. Get to it.
Only 25? Sheesh.
Yeah, time flies. That's why we got to enjoy this season while we can.
Next thing you know, we'll be at the end of the season.
That's how it always goes in NASCAR. Like the season starts, and then before we know it, we're at the end of the season.
Yep.
Time's just gonna fly right by. But anyways, that's gonna do it for the end of the regular season opener of the Codo Bach Pitstop. Thank you to everyone, as always, for watching. Hopefully, we'll have some really good racing at Atlanta this weekend again. Uh, we'll see you guys next week. Matt Lauterbach here. Across from me is the one and only.
The co-host of the Codo Bach Pitstop, Patrick Codo.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.